Oh, look, it's bloody Bombadil again. Tombus Bombulbadilbus. Mulligan this. This hand's a bit... It's okay. The search... We're going to put a lot of work into this search. Which is more I can say for the people trying to find those people trapped in a submarine underwater searching for the Titanic. Why would you do that? Honestly, why would you do that? You've all seen the movie Titanic. That's more than enough. Palantir of Orthanc. Yay, it's going to help me flip the search. So many words. I just, sometimes cards have so many words, I just can't be bothered to read. On the instep, put an influence counter on this. Yeah, we'll lose life. And then, whatever. We need lands. Come on, do we get a land? We get a land. Oh, it's absolutely joyous. And now we stop them drawing with the Palantir of Orthanc. A spell pierce, lovely. The faster we flip the search, the better as well. So then play this life equal to the top player. Maybe draw a card. And yep, absolutely kill Tom Bomb Bing Bada Boom Badus. Hello guys, and welcome to my second Lord of the Rings video. Today we're exploring the Two Towers, and I'm doing that by creating a Saruman the White. I know, it's white but blue, but it's a wizard. So Saruman the White Wizard avatar card, which is actually really awesome for an uncommon. And it's exciting because it's actually a very strong card, and it's very deceptive. I think this is going to be actually a viable mono blue commander, to be perfectly honest with you. I know it sounds like I'm just making this up, but honestly, I've tried it and it feels pretty good for a number of reasons. Number one, the algorithm should probably pare you down a little bit because using it uncommon. But also the War 2 is really good, and the sleeper ability on this, casting a second spell, Mass Orcs 2. So whenever you cast your second spell on either player's turn, either yours or theirs, you're going to get 2 counters on an Orc army. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is surprisingly good because mono blue struggles normally to actually deal the final blow and finish your opponents off. But with this commander, you can actually do the thing you probably want to do anyway, which for a lot of you will probably be countering things. And you'll create an Orc army along the way, and they get bigger and smash your opponent. And it's really interesting the interaction this has with the original Amass. I recently saw in a game, I used Callous Dismissal and I amassed Zombies 1, but I already had Amass Orcs 2. And what that weirdly did is it put a counter on the Orcs 2, and it became Amass Orcs and Zombies 3. So I'm not sure if that's the way it should work, because in my head it should be 2 separate, I suppose, but I don't know. It's pretty cool either way. It kind of combines Orcs and Zombies into one, so you can kind of synergize with older mass, newer mass, and whatever mass may come up in the future. For flavor reasons, I've had to include Gandalf as well. It's nice that they're both blue because they're wizards, right? The flavor makes sense, even though Gandalf's great at this point in the story. He synergizes really well, and it kind of makes sense as well. I have to admit, I hate admitting this, but the flavor's great. He has flash, and he gives you sorcery's flash, and whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Gandalf, draw a card. So that's pretty good. Probably not going to see that often, but the wizardriness of Gandalf and Saruman is here to represent their battle in the Two Towers. We also have Saruman's Trickery, which counts as a spell, which is pretty simple, but it also amass Orcs 1 as well. So that's just anything that gives you extra stuff along the way. The second part of the deck is it's secretly a do 2 things deck. So a lot of the cards in the deck comes down and it does 2 things. And what am I trying to get at is it wants you to cast 2 things per turn. So you want to try and shortcut that by making it easier. Stuff like mission briefing. You cast this, you get to cast a spell from your graveyard. So it's 1 spell that allows you to have 2 spells, right? So stuff like this is really cool. We've got Discover the Formula, which is interesting because it gives you 3 cards, but also makes the cards in your hand cost 1 less. And by just making the stuff in your hand cost less, you should be able to cast more things, right? So that's the logic. The same is true of Semblance Anvil. This makes your cards cheaper and therefore being able to cast them more often. We have Sword of Once and Future King, which lets you cast a spell from your graveyard if you surveil it there and if it's cheap enough. We also have Jingataxius. This doesn't work in the way you think. It copies a spell, but doesn't doesn't cast a spell twice, but it's still really good to just pump your spells forward. Arcane Proxy is nice because it comes in and lets you cast a spell as well from the graveyard. Same with Torrential Gearhulk. These two are pretty much staples, I'd say, in most mono blue decks. They're really cool. So the deck's just interesting. It has lots of different interesting things going on. There's more discounters with Primal Amulet. The Mirari Conjecture lets you bring us 2 spells back and then lets you copy spells on the 3rd phase. This Jink attacks his flips and lets you draw loads of cards when you're playing spells. There's just all sorts of really cool things that a blue player will probably want to do. It's not even that toxic. There's just a handful of counter spells. It's not like, 60 counter spells, which you might see with some Brawl players. Speaking of which, there is a Brawl. But yeah, it's just the way the format is. Mono blue, you're going to have some counters. That's just the way it is, especially in the format where you just match against really powerful enemies. But yeah, I think you'll be surprised by this. The only card I haven't included is, I think there's a card called Saruman's Storm or something. It's a 6-mana spell which copies the 2nd spell you cast each turn. But I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't really want to use a mythic wildcard on that because I'm a free-to-play player. I want to use the mythic and rare wildcards on legendary creatures so I can bring you more content. That's kind of like a little sneak peek into my methodology on the channel. So if you're ever wondering why I'm not using XYZ, it's because I'm trying to save the wildcards for the important things, which is the new videos I want to bring you guys. But yeah, if anyone does want to donate to the channel, you can do below in the Ko-fi link, which is in my description box. You can donate any amount, and it just obviously helps the channel. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's different. I know there's the Mythic Esper Saruman as well, but I thought I'd bring you this because probably not going to see this one on YouTube much. So let's try and carve some space that no one else has really done yet. I'm not saying I'm not going to do the new Saruman, the other Saruman, the Esper one. I just thought this was interesting. This one actually excited me more than the Mythic one because I feel like the Mythic ones just do a thing, then thing, and a thing, and thing. And there's just a lot of things going on. But this is just quite simple, quite linear, and yet different. We've not seen this really before. In a way, I'll be honest, this is a lot like Talrand, because Talrand is cast an instant sorcery, you get a 2/2 flying drake, right? This is just similar, but just in a different angle. But I like it. It's cool. The War 2 as well makes this a lot better too. So deck list will be in the description below. Make sure to check it out, and I hope you enjoyed this Two Towers themed deck. I'll be doing a lot more videos for Lord of the Rings because I know it's a very popular set. Just bear with me whilst I get through the deck text and stuff. And I hope you enjoyed today's videos. Okay, we go first against Tom Bombadil. We're going to want some more mana if we want to face him. This seems okay. Blink of an Eye can bounce the sagas that they're going to play. So 5 mana sagas. I've heard the tales that he's very good. We'll have to find out. I'm not that scared, to be honest. I feel like they're scarier, but whatever. If there's 4 more law counters, he has hexproof indestructible. I mean, yeah, that's annoying. That is annoying. Let's bounce her away. She can move counters. Wow, okay, so if we can just keep trolling them with tempo swings, this should be good. So Inventive Iteration can bounce creature planeswalker, so we'll try and do that again. Enchantress's Presence. Actually, that's fine. We'll let them have that. And then we can start building up stuff, right? So if we go for Hercule first, and then next turn we can, if Hercule's around, we can kick the Blink of an Eye, bounce something, draw a card, and then at end step we can draw a card again with Hercule, essentially. So if you cast a non-creature spell, reveal top 5 cards. For each card type amongst non-creatures you've cast, you can keep one into your hand. That's good. Or we can even go for Saruman, which is probably better, right? Because they missed a mana. Okay, so they missed a land drop, but they can play additional lands. It's slightly ironic having a Dryad of the Elysian Grove with no additional lands. So I wonder if they had how many lands they have in their deck. If they don't have 40 in a 5-color deck, probably not so effective. I try and always have 40 lands. I suppose the idea is they're trying to draw them with the presence, which makes sense. This is obviously a comical saga based on the speed in which Ents speak in the movies. Okay. Okay, so they got the land drop. Patch of Negation. That's actually incredibly good. But yeah, let's go for Blink of an Eye here. Bounce the Presence, because that's the one that's going to draw them the most cards. And we sadly can't play a second spell here, so we're not going to be able to amass 2. But yeah, Saruman being a 4/4, he's a hench old guy, you know, he really is. Oh my goodness. Spell Pierce. That is a spicy, spicy card to pick up in this match. So good, because it just means that all their plays now have to be carefully thought around. I could just pack that. They might counter this, but if they do, we Spell Pierce the counter. Yeah, I'm happy to stop that, because that draws them so many freaking cards. Sweet, and now we also get to amass 2. So they played right into that, which is interesting. So we are going to be 5 mana down in our turn, but we get to keep all of our stuff. Okay, swinging with Saruman. And maybe it was hasty to counter the presence, but this card is ridiculous. So they're going to... See, I mean, that's just how good that card is. They just use a spell to get it back. Okay, so we're going to have to try and deal with that again. Can we deal with it again? Maybe. 6 mana. If we go for this, we can bounce with the blink. So if we go for the 3 mana version, so that's 1 spell. We'll cast a Blink of an Eye. We can even kick it. Kick it on this. And it's a second spell, so we're going to amass 2 again. So now we can attack in with the Orcs. Oh, I love how technical this is all coming out. You can see how powerful the presence is, right? Like, it's just like a little... It's just a little war about this card. That's why I'm not too scared of Tom Bombadil, because by itself, it's not that great, really. But if they have a board wipe here, it does screw us up a bit. Hercule is just really fantastic in a deck like this because it gives you so much advantage. 7 mana. Battle of Frost and Fire. 4 damage. Yoinks. That kills our whole team, which is very, very sad. So they have a board wipe. And let me just confirm what she does. Move a counter of each kind, not on her, from one permanent to another. Sure. Saruman costing 7 is a hell of a lot. Let's bounce the Goldberry back to the hand here. And then we can even go for the Haughty Djinn to go over the top. Because once we get loads and loads of spells in the graveyard, then this is going to be a pretty good threat. The Inventive Iteration is nice as well, because it's going to return an artifact from our graveyard to our hand, which is going to be the Arcane Proxy. And if we do cast that again, we could bounce a creature enchantment. This Stern Dismissal, by the way, is a sleeper hit. It's so good. It's like Unsummon on steroids. Bouncing an enchantment is really nice. So here comes a Presence again, because they're obviously obsessed with that card. And the One Ring to rule them all. Tempts you, then each player mills cards each to the Ring Bearer's power. There's no Ring Bearer. And then destroy all non-legends, and then each opponent loses 1 life for each creature in that place graveyard. Interesting card. It's a board wipe. Or non-legends. So we just could go for Saruman, because that won't die. Or we could just bounce this. Destroy all non-legendary creatures. So Haughty Djinn's going to die, right? That's 1 spell. So swing in here. Down to 10. Well, let's see what they do. So assuming their entire deck is just sagas and enchantments, I mean, I presume they're just going to keep drawing and drawing and drawing. Tom Bombadil. Wow, draw 2 cards is pretty crazy. Four or more law counters, indestructible hexproof. Okay. It's a weird deck, right? It's just a weird deck. So now we flip this, we can stop them from casting things as long as we keep playing spells. So what do we want to do? We can turn Tom Bombadil into an ox. Use each... No, each opponent loses 1 of each thing, blah, blah. Not too bothered. Okay, let's return Tom Bombadil. They can't cast 2 mana spells. Okay. I think we swing in. They're going to block, which means that Jugan gets no value here. Just leave all the stuff up, I think. Yeah. So we've got the Brazen Borrower, and we have the Keep It Safe, sorry. So they want to target any of our things. We can protect it with this. If they board wipe, that's the bad part, really. Or if they use it like anything like an ultimatum. Sad times. I feel like I'm missing something here. 2 damage to each creature and each opponent. Okay. Okay. Why am I not worried? What am I missing here? Oh no, they went for the drag. Oh yeah, it's modular, isn't it? They can choose different. Okay, cool. Okay, so now I'm even less worried. Right. I feel like... So they're going to put a counter on the dragon, and then next turn destroy all artifacts. Sure. Do we have them? I think we have them. Or maybe not. Bounce the dragon. And then play a second spell, Amass. And that should be... Look at that, look. Tom Bombadil. No threat to me. I am Saruman. Okay, we're getting against Aragorn. Can we defeat Aragorn? Maybe. The thing about Aragorn is it's quite hard to tell what build that people choose, because there's just so many directions you can go in. It doesn't, and also, it doesn't really matter which direction they go in, because there are so many words, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. That's why, for my video, I chose a flavor build, because at least with flavor, you have a direction you can go in. Whereas if it's just randomly put anything in, I think it's harder. But that's just value decks these days, right? Most decks are just value decks because people can't be bothered to think about flavor, sadly. 4 colors means it's tough for them to, you know, reliably get stuff out early. But into the north so they can get a lander. Okay, that probably solves their problem. Especially if they have a snow duel. No, okay, just a regular 4 mana up. Minds of Moria. This guy's gone deep with the wild cards here. Let's try and slow him down with the old Narset. Counter spell. Okay, so they see that now. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard, create 2 treasures. Okay, it's nice to see a land that's not busted for once for a legend. I mean, it's good, but 4 mana exile 3 things, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. Merry with haste, of course. Whenever you attack with Merry and another legend, draw a card. God damn it. Okay. So Narset's screwed. Pardon me. I'd like to keep her alive, but man, of all the cards, haste. I mean, to be honest, it's 4-color deck, right? They're going to have some random stuff we didn't expect. Although 2 mana 2/2 haste is quite silly. On top of that, there's a lot of words. Yeah, I'm happy to keep Commence the Endgame. That's a good card. Mirror of Galadriel. Scry 5, draw a card. Okay, I mean, they just went for the thing that... And like a tilde as well. Sure, probably just bounce that. Okay. And is it too risky to go for Saruman here? We'll see what happens here. I mean, we do have the phasing of Zelfir. The phasing of Zelfir is interesting. We can use it to phase out Aragorn if they go for it. Intriguing that they played this, given that they see we have a Narset that's not been dealt with. But maybe this is a show of confidence. Maybe they do have the removal for Narset, and that's exactly why they're playing this. Awesome artwork for non-common, by the way. Fantastic. From Kazia Kapis Zielinska. Aragorn, okay. And a green-white, so they get a token and a power boost. Sure thing. When's the end game? So Aragorn is definitely a nuisance. The issue here is we can do this in their turn. And then do this here. So we get to amass in their turn. Man, Aragorn is scary. Maybe I should have killed everything here. Oh, man, this is scary. Aragorn does so many things. Back Alley Gardener. 3 damage, 4 boost. Three damage to us. Aragorn's a 9/9. That's very silly. And a Merry as well. Wow, that Aragorn is absolutely crazy. Okay, so Aragorn is an absolute beast. Question is, where's he going? Going for Narset. Okay, let's see what we get with the Discover here. So there's something that costs... So, exile top 5, exile 1 face down, put the rest on the bottom. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost if it's instant mana 2 or less. But we just could get a Time Warp into our hand instead. Which is probably better, right? Yeah, I think it's just better to get the Time Warp. Like, losing the Narset is like, okay, whatever. Thing is, they do have blue mana, so they could just counter what we do, but we do have the counter spell as well. Jesus Christ. Just pay, like... Ugh, so small amount. Okay, let's go for Time Warp. So we're going to get an extra turn. If we attack in, they're probably going to block the Saruman. Okay. We're just going to attack in again, I think. They don't have a way on board to gain life. For each creature, so this way a 2/2. This is actually bad. Okay, we'll pass turn. We want to get the Haughty Djinn to a level where it can just annihilate. Oh my, all the colours. Jesus, that's very, very strong. Do we just counter this? I think so. Omnath is 4 colours of absolute craziness. Can we beat this deck? I mean, we have some good flying, but that lightning bolt each turn is crazy. Man. So, interestingly, Omnath is the only other, I think the only other card in Arena with those, which is 4 colours, the exact 4 colours of Aragorn. So it's the one of the best cards in the deck. Countering it is important. This is a 6/6. Broker's Ascendancy. Oh my goodness. I think we're in trouble. I think we are in a lot of trouble here. And they're drawing a card for good measure. Okay, I'd still... So I think I've probably got 1 turn, right? And I really want them to target something because I want to use the keep safe. Taking 11 if we don't block. They get to draw a card. So we amass. And what if we make Aragorn a bit weaker? So now we can actually double block him. Which feels weird in a blue deck. 2-5. We go to 10 though. And I don't think we're going to be able to deal 17 here. Okay. Does the phasing actually help here? Maybe? Eight. Let's go over the top here. Yeah, sadly, I just don't think there's a way to actually win this. But okay, we'll just go through the motions. Aragorn is a very, very strong deck. And they can also... The amount of damage he's done just by playing red spells is insane. Okay, so Joyra, they're going for Joyra first. They get a land to the battlefield. This back Alley Gardener is insanely good. And a Halana. Sure. Man, this keepsafe is probably a dead card, right? What are they going to give the power boost? Power boost to her. Alpha. Get to draw a card. Let's see what Commence the Endgame gets us here. Can't be countered. Ah, it's such a shame. 7/7 though. So even if we block the strongest and the second strongest, yeah, we still get mullered. 4, 5, 6 plus 8. Yeah, damn. Oh well, that was a cool game. I think I'm gonna draw a card as well. I think it was close because if you look at our aerial firepower here, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I think if the keep safe maybe was another bounce spell earlier on, might have been okay. But obviously the Broker's Ascendancy made the whole team double as strong as well. But yeah, that was a cool game. We go first. Too slow of a hand. And this hand requires another land. But we don't want to mulligan down. It's just death sentence, to be honest. To be honest. And this is Haste Tribal. Used to be very popular when it first came out. So probably most of the creatures in the deck will have haste. As demonstrated by Gingerbrute. Okay. Brawl is okay. Brawl can block the Gingerbrute unless they get removal spell. And then hopefully we get ourselves some more mana. Otherwise we are stuck. Are they going to give it basically protection from non-haste creatures, which is a bit odd. There we go, we get the land. So let's go for the Djinn first. I don't want to go for the Hercule just yet, because I want to have 4 mana for that, to be honest. Yeah, because you want to go Hercule, and then maybe one of these other spells. That means you can replenish your hand a little bit. But if you go Hercule without anything else, then it's kind of bad move, really. Phoenix chick. So many words. This isn't uncommon, by the way. Flying haste can't block. Whenever you attack with 3 or more, pay red. Red. If you do, return it from the graveyard to the battle, tap and attack it. Sure. So we can't block that again. Okay, so we're going to have to go for Hercule, I think. I feel like blocking is going to be an issue this game, so let's just swing in. 3-3. Maybe we should have left the Tempest Gin up for the Ognis. Yeah, I mean, we do have a couple of bounce removals. Whenever a creature don't control haste attacks. So we kill the Brute. Man, they've just, like, almost doubled their mana. Okay, we have a problem. We keep missing on lands. Let's bounce the Ognis. What do they have in hand that costs 0? I'll leave the Djinn back because I want to be able to block the Ognis if possible. Keep safe will be fine. We don't have 3 mana for the Trickery. Man, we've got 40 lands in the deck here. We're a Control-y style deck. 40 lands, not drawing any of them. If they kill one of our creatures, it's very tempting to turn one of our guys into a 4-4 as well. Is this going to be a casualty? Surely not. Because the keep safe just stops the whole thing. But maybe it is. Maybe they've got some other motives. It's funny which cards have and haven't the restraint on it. So the restraint that I'm talking about here is whenever a creature you control with haste attacks, right? That's the logic I'm thinking of. 4 damage. Can be counted, though, because it's not 5 or more. What I was trying to say is that some cards would say whenever 1 or more attacks. Wow, another protection spell. That's actually really lucky because they have another spell. We can protect the Djinn again. But yeah, what I was trying to say was some cards say whenever 1 or more attacks you get like a treasure, but this just is unbounded. So it's whenever a creature. So this is just unbelievable. Like if you attack with 100 haste creatures, you get 100 treasures. But some cards say whenever you attack with 1 or more. I just wonder at what point in R&D they go, yeah, okay, let's screen like this. I think this is too powerful, to be honest. 4 mana 3/3 haste is already decent. Even if it just gave you 1 treasure on attack, pretty good. I guess the logic here is it's 3 colours. The 3 colours really pushes us above and beyond. But the thing about Magic these days that I think R&D don't understand is colour restrictions are an illusion. Like if you look at, you know, just how powerful... Wow, another spell. Let's get rid of this. Just how powerful 5 colour is without the correct mana fixing these days. It's... you know, you don't even need that much mana fixing. I think that's why Golos was an issue, because Golos was a 5 colour general, but didn't cost 5. It was 5 generic, and that's why Golos is, to this day, still one of the most broken and OP cards in existence. My friend in real life made a budget Golos deck, and it still kicked our asses, because it was just obnoxiously strong. Okay, so the opponent just decided to not do anything. Interesting. Right, Tempest Djinn is 4/4. They have 3 mana up, and they want to use it, but there's kind of, I don't know what's going on. They're pseudo roping me. Not really. They're looking at their hand at least. Most ropers just go and go to the toilet or something. What else was I saying? Yeah, just how the design of 5 mana cards has gone out the window. I think whoever was in charge of this years ago, just they either got fired. Watsy said we need to make 5 colour stronger and sell more packs. But I think there was nuance in 5 colour, because 5 colour used to be tied to something like a tribe. Look at like all the slivers, right? They're strong, but they only should work with a certain archetype. Even, you know, people do abuse the sliver hive lords and stuff, but the intent is there for slivers to be used. It's just the issue with stuff like Golos and Atraxa is they don't reward smart deck building. And that's the part of the game I enjoy. The smart, like making you feel smart for doing something that no one else has or not many people do, right? But if you play Atraxa, for instance, it's not even just Atraxa. Atraxa by itself in a vacuum would probably be okay. The issue is there's always the same deck lists. You just see the deck lists and they all have, ultimatum and stuff. So it's not interesting to face. It's like, imagine if you liked cars and you went on the road and everyone had the same car. It'd be boring, wouldn't it? Just, I don't know, it's like, if there's all the same of something, it's just boring. And it becomes quite totalitarian and just so uniform. It's like waking up in a prison cell every day, forced to fight this big prison guy that keeps bullying you every day and stealing your money. And, well, I don't know why the guy wrote me at the end there, but it's a shame. That was going to be an interesting game I would have hoped for. Did you know that you can help my channel by watching another one of my videos? Go ahead, you want to.